Well, welcome, folks. You know what? 2 years ago, I ran the 57th House of Delegates district in Charlottesville, and I was actually the first Republican to run in 16 years. I say that again, 16 years at that time. And it's time that we mobilize and we go on the front lines at these radically blue districts in Virginia. Now, this time I'm running for Virginia Senate in the 11th. So I'll be running against Deeds or Delegate Sally Hudson, whoever wins the Democratic primary later this year. But that consists of Nelson County, Amherst County, Almore County, Charlottesville City, and the western side of Louisa County. Now, I believe in constitutional carry. I'm a descendant of George Mason IV on my mother's side of the family. And if we look back at the founding of our nation, George Mason was part of the Virginia Declaration of Rights. He drafted that document that the First Amendment is based off of. Now we have the Second Amendment. It wasn't the 10th Amendment of the Bill of Rights. It was the second, one of the most important ones that we have. And Patrick Henry, he would not support the Constitution unless we had a Bill of Rights. The same man who gave me the give me liberty or give me death speech, he would not support the Constitution without the Bill of Rights. And think about it. New York, back at the time, was waiting on the sidelines. They weren't going to vote to ratify the Constitution until they saw what Virginia was going to do. So there was many debates between James Madison and Patrick Henry. But once James Madison agreed to the Bill of Rights, then Patrick Henry threw his hat in the ring and said, we're going to ratify this Constitution. But over 200 years onwards, we have a government that doesn't respect the Second Amendment. We have people who are advocating for gun control. What is the strongest deterrent against a socialist, Marxist, tyrannical government? The Second Amendment. Look at what's happening in China. Look at what's happening in other countries that don't have a Second Amendment. Look at the COVID restrictions that they're having. There were riots in China because they had people in an apartment complex and they had a fire and several of them died. I think it was 50 plus people who died. But it's because they didn't have guns to stand up to the communist regime of China. We would never allow what happened in China to happen here in America. And that's why this fight is so essential. We must have constitutional carry here in Virginia. And we need to have a majority in the Virginia Senate so that way we can pass this. Now, thank God we have a majority in the House of Delegates, but there is work to be done. And that's why I'm taking the fight to the Virginia Senate. You can find me on Facebook for Hamilton for Senate. You can email me at hamiltonforvasenate@gmail.com. And one last thing I want to mention, too, is that I was at the Lee Jackson Day celebration last weekend in Lexington. Now, there's a petition for the New Market battlefield. Now, due to, quote-unquote, COVID restrictions, they said, well, we can't have reenactments anymore. And this is of Union and Confederate soldiers who are honoring veterans. Come to me and sign this petition. Let's reopen reenactments that has been going on since 1914. This is the oldest reenactment site in the country, and it's absolutely ridiculous that they have shut it down. Thank you.